1990 month is Jan. Suppose so I'll take multiple employee record. I have 3 line items. One is for Jan, one is for Feb, and one is for March. So what I'm doing is I'm getting the employee record from the source, and I'm converting this employee record into master and transactional data, that is header and items. So the header is fixed. The item should be repeated based on the number of records. Suppose I'll take 2 records. I'll take it as suppose 1999. It as 6. Zero, 2, 1, 8. Right. So here in my input you can see I have two employee details. So for my target I need to repeat this employee record multiple time. Bara. Anil. The second employee ID is Anil. 9 6. So like this, I need to repeat based on my input employee record. So we'll create the source and target structure. So I'm converting my XML into XST first. So you can see the employee record is unbounded because I have multiple employee record. So that's why it's created the employee record with unbounded. I'm saving this source. I'm converting my target structure. So here you can see my employee record is repeated multiple times, and also I'm repeating the items as well. So these two is unbounded. I'm saving this. I'm creating my integration flow. So here what I'm trying to do is I'm getting the multiple employee records from the source system, and I'm converting that multiple employee record into header and line items, and I'm sending those details into the receiver system. So this is my requirement. In creating message IP details, and I'm importing my source and target. So as you can see, this is the one to one. I mean occurrence is one to one bounded. That's why I'm getting warning if I did not map to these fields, I'm unable to run this particular exam. So here in the input you can see I need to generate employee records 2 times. That means each unique employee ID I need to create employee record. So that is my logic. I need to import for the employee record. So as now I'll disable my item field. We'll try to generate the employee record first. So you can see the employee record is repeating 2 times. That means I have only 2 employee records, so that's why it's generated only 2 times. So I need to generate the employee record based on my unique employee ID. So let's implement this. I'm mapping this employee ID to my employee record. So today we'll try to cover most of the node functions. So these are the important functions in the message mapping. If you want to perform any task in the message mapping, you must use the node functions. Without node functions, you cannot do the message mapping. So listen carefully. So if you got idea in the node functions, you can do any kind of mappings. So here I'm uploading my test case. And disable this. Okay. No. I just mapped the employee ID. Otherwise, I'm getting the validation error. So I'm displaying the queue. So you can see I have employee ID with 6 record for 6 record 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So in between you can see the gray color. So that is the context change. So if you want to perform any task in the field level, you need to first remove this context. The context is nothing but based on this context the target field value is created. So you can explore the context if you want more details in the up. I mean, if you work on the real times, you will get the clear idea on what is context and the context change, those kinds. So as of now, so I want to take only the unique employee id. I mean, how many unique employee id I have. I need to create my employee record. So for that I need to perform task in my employee id. So if you want to perform any task in the field level, I need to first remove my context. So to remove my context, I have the node functions called remove context. So the information you can see, the remove context function produces plain stream of value with no context change. If we have the any context change, we cannot perform any operations or functions in the message mapping. So if you want to perform any operations, first you need to remove the context. After performing the operations, you need to add the context. So first I'm removing my context. Displaying the queue. So you can see the left hand side, this is my input with the context. After remove context, every context has been removed. So now what my requirement is, I need to generate the employee record based on the unique employee ID. So first I need to remove the duplicates employee ID. So how we can do? We have the one more node functions called split by value. The split by value is nothing but it will create the context based on the condition. So in the advanced you can see we it will create the context based on these conditions. It will create context for each value. It will create context for empty value. It will create context for value change. So based on our requirement, we need to select. So now what I need to do, I need to create the context whenever the value changes. So here you can see I have three employee ID with 10101. After 101, I need to create one more context for 102. So whenever the value change, I need to create the context. So it is grouping. It's grouped all the duplicated value with separated by one context and create another context uh, uh, for the another duplicates value. So we have the each value. Each value is nothing but it will create the context for each values. So what it does, it creates context for each value. So we have one more option called empty value. So if the input is empty, then it will create the context. So now what I did, I have removed the context first, and I'm grouping the I'm grouping the data based on my unique employee IDs. So each duplicates employee ID is separated in one context based on my split by value condition. So after this, I need to collapse this. Multiple duplicates value. So I want to create only two employee record, right? So I want to remove the duplicates. So for that, we have the function called collapse context. The collapse context is nothing but if my context have multiple q values, it will suppress all the value and it will give me only one value. So you can see this is my input. So you can see I have this is the q. We can say this is the q. So this q have, I mean this q have three values. So I want to suppress it into one value. So collapse context, what it does, it will suppress three value, and it will give the first value, whatever the value in the first q, it will provide that as a output. So you can see in the second context, I have the three values, but the collapse context collapse all the values and provide me the first q value. So this is the collapse context. So now I have generated two employee id. I mean, I am removing all the duplicates employee id. So now what I need to do, I need to create the node. So you can see this is the field. So this is the node. So what I need to do is I need to generate the node, not the field. So for that, we have the functions called createif. Createif is nothing but it will create only if the value is true. You can see the create function produces empty value if an argument is true. So that means it will accept only the boolean. If it is true, then it will create the context. Otherwise, it will not create the context. But in our case, you can see we have the value, not the boolean. So I'm getting the error. Cannot cast 1012 boolean. So I'm getting the error in the createif. So for that, what I need to do is before going to createif, I need to check whether the value is present or not. If the value is present, I need to set that as a true. Otherwise, I need to set that as false. So here I have two values. So I need to send the output as true. Then only it will create two node in the target. So for that we have one more function called exist. The exist is nothing but if the value is present, it will give an output as true. Otherwise, it will throw an output as false. So if you click on display queue, you can see I have two values. That's why it returns me the true. If it is true, then it will create the context based on the creative condition. So here you can see these both is true. So that's why the context got created. So what I did, I am first generating the node. So this is the standard approach everyone needs to follow. First, you guys need to create the node, and also after creating the node, you need to create the child node. After creating the child node, you need to create each field values. So first I'm generating employee record based on my unique employee id. So I want to get the unique employee id. For that, I'm performing the uh, queue level operations. So that's why I'm removing the context. After removing the context, I'm generating the context whenever the value changes using my split by value condition. After generating the uh, context for each unique employee id, collapse the context. I'm collapsing the context. That means I'm removing the duplicates. After removing my duplicates, I have the two values. So I don't want the values. I want to create the node. So for that, I need to convert this value into node. Before using creative function, we'll create the node. So before going to create the creative function, we'll check whether the node is value is present or not. If the value is present, it will throw us output as true. So now we'll simulate this. Uh, Okay, so disable everything is disabled. So you can see I generated two employee records. So after that, what I need to do, I need to create the header details. So I have created the employee records. So I have created the two employee records. After creating the employee records, I need to generate the header. So you can see the header also unique. So based on each unique employee ID, the header got created. So you can see two header I have. The two header got generated here. So now I want to perform the header field values. That means I want to perform these three fields first. After generating the header, I will work on the item creation. So you can see the employee ID is, the first employee record is 101. For the second employee record, the value should be 102, but it given the value as 101 because you can see we did not do any logic for employee ID. I'm directly doing one-to-one mapping. So what it will do, we have multiple employee IDs from the source. So what it will do, it will take the first two employee ID irrespective of the conditions. So that's why I'm getting the output as 101 and 102. So we need to perform the operation to fetch only the unique employee ID. So previously we have done the same logic in the employee record. What we did, we will segregate only the unique employee IDs. So I'm using the same mapping expression to generate my employee ID. For that we have the option called copy paste. So we can directly copy the expression here and we can paste it over here. If I click on paste, so it directly created here. So here I don't want to generate the node, I want the field values. So I'm removing this existent creative and I'm directly connecting to my employee ID. So now you can see I got the two unique header employee ID. So I did not create any context in between these two employee ID. So we'll see. But when we work on the field, we must create the context. Otherwise, it will throw an error. See, you can see the output cannot produce the target element employee record 2. Employee record 2 is nothing but it unable to create the second employee record because there is no queue for the second context. You can see the error. Q has not enough value in context. That means we have only one context change in the employee ID. So you can see 10 and 102 are in the same context. So that's why it throw an error. But our condition, you can see we have generated two employee record, but we are giving the employee ID only first employee record. We are suppressing the second employee record. That's why it throw an error. So to create the context, we have the split by value. So previously we have done for value change. Whenever the value changes, then only it will create the context. So in this case, we will create the context for value change. Each value change, it should create the context. See, previously we have only one context for 102 only, but you can see now it will create each value context. So you can see in the first header, I got the employee ID as 102. In my second header, I got the employee ID as 101 and 102. So we have generated the employee record and we have generated the header, and inside header we have generated the employee ID. So now what we need to do? We need to create the employee name, employee date of birth. So what we need to do? We'll do same operation for employee name as well. Enabling this field, I need the value from the employee name only. Pasting this. What I'm doing, I'm removing the context first. After that, for value change, I need to create the context. So I'm removing the context first using my remove context function. After removing that, I'm creating the context only the unique. I mean each values. After that, I'm collapsing this context. So in my one queue, I have uh, multiple queue in one context. So I'm removing all the duplicates and I'm generating the unique unique queue. After creating the queue, I need to create the context using my split by value. I'm creating the context. So now you can see EMP ID 1 is for Bala, EMP ID 102 for Anil. So it got successfully created. Now we'll work on employee date of birth. Suppose we have the employee date of birth in this format, but in the target, I want the employee date of birth to separate with the hyphen. So this is my input, but I want to convert this format into this format separated by hyphen. So we'll work on this. I'm copying this mapping functions, like enabling this field. I'm taking the input from the date of birth. The same operation we performed for both employee ID and employee name. So here the same I got generated correctly. First is for 1990 is for Bala and 1999 is for Anil. So what I need to do? I need to separate the date to month and year based on the hyphen, not the slash. So for that, we have the one more function called date transfer. So in the date function, we have the multiple functions: current date, date trends, date before, date after, compare date. Current date is nothing but if you want to fetch the current date, you can give directly to the target. It will create the current date of current date. So you can see I'm directly mapping the current date to the date of birth in this format. So you can see today date is 9/1/2026. It created successfully. So like that, we have multiple functions. So in our case, we need to transform the incoming date. Before split by value, I need to do the operation. So my input format is date, month, year separated by slash. This is my in-date format. In-date format is nothing but the incoming date format. We need to provide the incoming date format and we need to provide the what the expected output we want. So that format we need to provide. We have the input as date, month and year, right? So dd slash mm slash. So this is the incoming date format. So I want to convert this into separated by hyphen. in the queue. So you can see this is my input. I'm getting from the incoming data. You can see date, month, year separated by slash, but in the output, you can see it got separated by hyphen. Here you can see the output got updated. So now we have generated the header details. So we'll see one more scenario. Like what I'm doing is I'm changing the structure. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the employee record Anil in between my uh, Bala and employee details. So you can see simulating here. So now you can see we have 4 employee record. Why it got created 4 employee record? Anyone have any idea? Any idea on that? So what we did is we have directly separated based on the I mean without grouping it. We are directly converting. So here what I'm doing is I'm remove my context. So previously what we had 101, 101, 101. After that we got the employee 2 record 102, 102, 102. So what I'm doing is I'm splitting the value whenever the value change. That means whenever the value changes, then it will create the context. But in our case, what we need to do, we need to remove the duplicates, not the creating the context whenever the value change. So what we need to do is first we need to group all the employee id. After that we need to create the context. So for that we have the function called sort. What it will do, it will sort the values first, then only create the context. So you don't confuse here. What I'm doing is previously I have given all the 101 in first. After that I gave all the employee id 102. But what I'm doing is I'm changing one record and I'm pasting that 102 record in between my 101 record. So on that time the split by value is will not work because it will create the context based on the value change. So here 101, 101. After 101 I have 102. So what it will do, split by value, it will create the context in between 101 and 102. Once after 102 again the value got changed. So that's why it create the one more context after 102. So that's why you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 context, because after 101 again the context got created because the value got changed. Here in between 3 times the value got changed. That's why I got the 4 employee record in my output. I got 4 employee record in my output because each value change, it got the context got created. For my first employee ID, you can see 101. After I have changed in between 102. My second employee record created with the employee ID of 102. After that, the employee record is created again with 101. So now what we need to do is, before splitting the before creating the context, I'm doing sorting function. The sorting function we can do ascending order. If you want to do descending order, you can do. So now I'm displaying the queue. So here you can see in my input, this is my input. I can see 101 101, and in between I have 102. After that 101 102 102. So after sorting, what it does is, it's grouping all the duplicates value. So 101 101 101, after the sorting of 101, it sorted it 102. After that, I'm creating the context. So now you can see I'm getting only 2 employee records. So this the same sorting function I need to implement for employee ID, name, date of birth. So we'll work on one more scenario. Yes, I'm taking this annual record. Let's just suppose. Now what I'm doing is, I'm taking the annual record first. After that, I'm taking the 3 Bala. After that, 2 Anil. We'll check this. So here you can see the employee ID 102 got created first. After that, the employee ID 101 got created. The 102 is Anil, and the Anil date of birth is 1999. So it got created successfully. So how many node functions we have covered? We have covered createif. Createif is nothing but it will create the context whenever the incoming argument is true. The remove context is nothing but it will remove the context whenever we are performing any operation in the queue level, then we need to remove the context first, then only we can perform the operations. So we'll see replace value later. We have seen the exist. The exist is nothing but if the value is present, it will send the output as true, otherwise it will send the output as false. The get header and get property is nothing but if we use the content modifier in the previous step of the message mapping, if you are keeping any value in the header or property and you want to fetch those values inside the message mapping, you can use these two functions to get those two values. So for example, in the constant, so what are all the header name we have maintained, those name we should create. Header data. Let's see. I'm mapping that header into get header. So what I need to do is before the message mapping, I'm maintaining one header with the name of header data and I'm giving the constant as raw. So here I'm trying to fetch using get header. So you can see the employee name with null. That means we are not maintaining properly. Sorry, if you are maintaining anything in the header or property, you need to do the simulation or you need to deploy. So we did not complete the mapping yet, that's why we are unable to create the target node. So this is how we need to use the uh, get header and get property. So what are all the header value maintained in the header, you need to maintain those with the constant function, and you need to map that into header key, and you can map those into employee name. So now we did not create for item, that's why premature end of file. So till now, anyone have any doubt on creation of the header? And if you have any doubt in the node functions, please ask me now. Okay. So
Like Hari,
yeah.
can you go to like change the like source structure once? Not here, like there in integration only. Like where we upload a XSD schema. Here you can change like no, once you click the change button.
Which change button?
Yeah, you have to close this window. In the employee records, there is option called edit it at the source at the top there. Yes. Like here occurrence, it's showing like a different occurrence. We can directly change here.
No. If
Yeah.
you change
So,
here, it will change all the occurrences.
okay.
So
So that's
the
the doubt.
see the new message got created. The already mapped message got deleted. So
Okay.
the best practice is to directly go get it into your XSD and change there. So see, I have changed the occurrences. So this got deleted. So if I mean I'm doing mapping, that's why it's in the yellow color. Otherwise it got deleted directly. So
Okay.
the new occurrences got created separately over here.
Okay.
So we have covered most of the functions. We need to cover usefulness menu, short by key, format by example, and the replace value. Okay, till now everyone get clarity on that, right? So you guys can work on this mapping. In tomorrow's class we'll create the item. So if you guys can able to create, try to create the item node as well, and we'll review on the next class. So this is the most important functions in the message mapping. So if you are working any mappings, then we must use the node functions. Without node functions, we are unable to perform in mappings. So work on it. If you have any issue, or if you are facing any difficulties, please let us know. In the next class we'll clarify that and try